that way, and they are making eco bricks with that. This is one example of a keyring that our students have made.
Wow. You mentioned learning to earning. Which
Said you give plastic for tablets. People were saying, "Are you guys rat pickers?"
comes to
Yes.
plastic, I mean, plastic is everywhere. Hello and welcome to Planet vs. Plastics podcast series brought to you by Earth Day Network India. I'm Rumit Walia, your host for this insightful journey into a world free from plastic pollution. Today's episode is Schools versus Plastics, and we welcome one of our Earth Day stars who runs a school which accepts plastic waste as fee.
Before we dive in, here's a quick reminder. The views expressed here are for general informational purposes, and we encourage you to do your own research. We're here to spark ideas, inspire change, and navigate the complexities of plastic pollution.
So today we have with us Miss Parmita from Akshar Foundation. So why don't you introduce yourself and the foundation?
Thank you so much for having me. I am Parmita Sharma, one of the co-founders of Akshar Foundation. And we started our organization with the idea that every student, every child deserves quality education. But then the challenge was that what kind of education do poor children need? So we started Akshar Forum, our model school, with an idea to provide holistic education to children. And when we started our school, we realized that a lot of students were dropping out of school to go work because they had to provide for their families. So this is when we thought that, okay, we have to have a system where we can provide earning opportunities to the students at the school. Then we also learned that not all students are academically inclined. So what can we do for the students who are not very into academics, but they are great with their hands? So this is how we introduce vocational training. So now our model school has different kinds of vocation along with academics, and we also teach our students to care about the environment because it affects all of us, and we have just one planet. So yeah, we have a holistic education model.
I've heard this and I've seen the news and this popping up everywhere that there's a school in Guwahati in the outskirts that is accepting not fees as the money that usually the world runs on. You are accepting fees as plastic waste. I mean, this is a
Yes.
two-way, ek teer se do kaam you're doing, and this is like you're reducing the plastic pollution, you're recycling the waste, as well as you're providing this education for kids. So, what actually led you to develop this unique approach, and how it usually works in the school? I mean, do they bring whatever they can, or is it a specific kind of plastic, single use, and what do you do with that plastic?
So when we introduce different vocations, we also introduce recycling because we thought that, children have to learn about the environment and care for their environment. So when we discussed with the students as to what aspect of, recycling we can incorporate, we learned that they were burning the plastic in the winter months and then taking the warmth from it. And even
Oh,
young children, like babies, they would sit around the burning plastic for warmth. So we were like, okay, this has to stop now. So maybe we can ask the students to, bring the plastic to the school instead of burning it. But the students did not bring it because it takes a lot of
oh.
work to segregate the plastic. It's not that simple. So some students brought it, but not all the students. So we were like, okay, we have to compel them to bring it. So we have a free education model. Our school is free. So then we called the parents and we told them that you have two choices. One is that you send the plastic to the school, or you can start paying fees, but you have to pay fees, and we are like strict about it. So after that, we had 100% compliance from the parents, and then they started sending the plastic with their children. So the students, we asked them to bring like 25 items of plastic, but that is not, set in stone. Like if some kids bring more, that's okay. If some kids bring less, that is also okay. But
Uh-huh.
we need them to get in this habit of recycling. And like I mentioned before, some of our students had to go outside to work. So those students, we also recruit them after school hours to recycle the plastic that we collect.
Oh,
So
wow.
we have so yeah, those students are also engaged that way, and they are making eco bricks with that, where you kind of put in plastic into a bottle, like pack it with like a rod. And with the eco bricks, we are able to do small kinds of construction like pathways or planter. And we were also even thinking of building a toilet, but we are not there yet. In the meantime, we also learned about Precious Plastic, which is an organization based in Netherlands, and they have blueprints of their machines which can recycle plastic into different products. So we were like, okay, it'll be great for our students to learn how to use the machines along with recycling the plastic. So we had a couple of volunteers from Germany who had come over to work at our school, and they did the fundraising for the machines. And this is how we set up the precious plastic machinery at our school. And now our students, they make different kinds of products like flower pots, key rings, dog bowls with the recycled plastic. This is one example of a key ring that our students have made.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Wonderful.
And this is made from bottle caps. So our students are also learning that, plastic has value because they were used to seeing plastic as just trash. But now that we are making different products and we even sell these products at our school shop. So our students manage like a shop where they sell different products made by them. And they are seeing the value because people are coming to our school and buying these, plastic products. So yeah, it has been like, it has helped them really get into or involved with this project.
Remember when we were having this conversation, you also mentioned learning to earning, which is a very cool way.
Yes,
And they're getting placement. I mean, who gets a placement just after the school, during the school? You're recruiting them, they're doing so much work, and knowingly or unknowingly, they are actually benefiting our environment where we live in. So I think we should all
definitely.
learn from these kids how they are very responsibly handling their waste and then turning into, let's say, something that everybody can use. At Earth Day also, we have several initiatives where we try to engage schools, because school is where the basic education starts, where we can embed the
Yes.
values, instill the values in these minds. And you very rightly said that you're building up this habit, because behavioral change is slow, but that is permanent. So when we do things with school, with private schools, and then also with government schools or other schools that are there, we try to have some programs like we have earth reels, we have morning assemblies. We very recently developed this. I know this is a mirror image, but this is a what is
I
climate
can read
change.
that, yeah.
Oh wow, innovative ways to engage students. And how does your model can be replicated, or if it is already replicated in some of the schools, or how anybody can, let's say if anyone has a school already in functioning, infrastructure is already there, how do they replicate your model?
So our model is designed to be replicated in other schools. We are working with 18 government schools now where they are doing every aspect of our model, including recycling, vocational training, and we also have developed softwares to track the individual level of students. So I don't think I mentioned that, but at our school, we do not group the kids by their age. We group them by their skills. And everything is open sourced. Everything is on our website. So if someone wants to replicate the education model, they are welcome to download it from the website. We are happy to provide all the support they need, including software and materials that we have developed. And for plastic as well, we are kind of trying to motivate the schools to recycle. I wouldn't say it's a success yet because we are in the initial phases. And getting people to segregate is not that easy, because
Yeah.
unless there is a compulsion, like we did at our model school where we said you have to give plastic or you pay in money, we are not able to do that in the government schools. So in the government schools, we are telling the students that you give plastic for tablets. So we provide tablets and digital classrooms to the schools, but then we have to kind of make it compulsory for the students to bring plastic. Otherwise, they don't. So now the what we are trying to do is we tell them, okay, if you bring in 25 items of plastic every week, then you will be able to use tablets in your classes. Our students also learn how to segregate the plastic. They learn about the different types of plastic. They know which plastic we can use in the with the machines and which plastics things. And we just started it. It hasn't been that long, but we have been able to accumulate quite, yeah, like decent quantity of plastic because the private schools, they consume a lot of plastic. So that is another thing, right? We work in government schools, we work with the underprivileged community, so they don't consume as much as the middle class or the upper class. So
Hmm.
these private schools, we are able to collect a lot of plastic from them, and our students are benefiting because they also have jobs. Like they have jobs to segregate the plastic and recycle the plastic. So this is keeping them engaged, and they are learning, how to do the segregation.
Things, I mean, everybody who listens to this, I'm sure, would really want to go to Assam and Guwahati and be a part of your
And
school. I
most
mean,
welcome.
you're getting a tablet out of waste. I could have never thought of it. I mean, If that was the case in my childhood, I think I would have collected every single piece I have seen anywhere on the roads or everywhere. I must have
I
thousands of
know,
tablets
right?
by now. That is wonderful. So, and you very rightly said that it's very tough for people to segregate. We are yet to, like, there are so many reasons to it. There's no habit, or there's no specific directions. What do they do? For example, we have this huge campaign in India, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which led us to have this habit of throwing waste into the dustbin. But now we need to move to the
Yes,
next step. Which waste goes into which dustbin? I mean,
exactly.
the government is doing it, but people are struggling with it. There's a gadi always comes with Neela and Neela nahi hai Gila. There's a this theme that I
Yes,
use basically, and then Hara and Sukha Kuda. That is tough. And then there's just
it
not wet
is.
and dry waste. There are several ways. And when it comes to
Yes.
plastic, I mean, plastic is everywhere. You find it in, and
Yeah.
kids are very prone to this diseases that are coming up from plastic when we burn these in
Yes.
open areas. These landfills. I know there's a landfill you mentioned last time that it's
Yeah.
near your school, so I can understand how tough it is. But at the
Yeah.
same time, how a little bit of motivation it can be that students one day the Akshar Forum students will be eradicating that landfill, and then they'll be converting that waste into something useful. So that is you're doing very good, and I'm sure that other schools will be keeping up with you in this cool initiative of ending the plastic pollution. The major problem that we have also analyzed, as this is Earth Day theme is planet versus plastic, and the major motive that we have is that we want to reduce the plastic consumption by 60% in coming years. And that is because as much as we consume, not everything is recycled. So that is very important that we stop
Exactly.
the consumption of that. There are so many challenges. And when it comes to plastics, I mean, everybody sees plastics from a very different opinion. For a rack picker or
Yes.
for a businessman who is doing something with plastic, it is gold. But for every other person, it's just litter. It's just they just want to get rid of
Yes.
it. When I used to pick up these plastic in
Mm.
classrooms, like, are you a kude wala? Are you a kabadi wala? What? Why are you
Yeah.
doing this? I had the courage, but not everyone have it. So, what challenges have
Definitely.
you faced personally, or let's say the Akshar Forum is facing, and I'm sure these students might be facing as well. So, and how are you tackling those? That is very important to let people know that how you can tackle that that huge problem.
So, like you said, our students also went through the same thing. Like people were saying, "Are you guys rack pickers? Why are you
Oh.
collecting plastic?" So it was a little demotivating for them, and they're already coming from an underprivileged community, right? So in their mindset, they're already thinking that we are not as good as the rest of the people. So when you add to that, like being a rack picker and things like that, of course, it was quite demotivating for them. But then we had students from the University of Oxford coming to intern with us, and those students also participated in the segregation process, in the recycling process. So that was like a big boost to our students, because they were like, oh, people from abroad are coming to our school and getting involved with recycling. So that motivated them to a great extent. And now that they are producing different kinds of products with the plastic, that is also giving them the motivation, because we have many visitors at our school and they mostly come to see the recycling facility. So the
Hmm.
students are slowly understanding that this is important, and if anyone is making fun of us, it is because they are ignorant that this work is necessary. So hopefully, it takes time. You can't change mindset overnight, but we are seeing small changes, and hopefully, that can result into something big.
What would be that one last thing that you would like to tell our audience or our viewers or listeners that they should really do?
I would like to request everyone to start this process of recycling at home. The change starts with us. So if we all make efforts at the individual level, then we can expect the government to make efforts on a bigger scale. So, like if every household recycle, like segregates the plastic, that's like half the battle won. Because after that, the government can take up the plastic and give it for recycling. So yes, my request would be to, be the change and start making the change at their own homes.
Wow, wonderful. So be the change, everyone. And with that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much, Parmita, for joining. And
Thank you
it
so
is
much for
always
having me.
wonderful to talk to you and talk about this initiative. Thank
Same
you.
here. Thank you.